Hello again, YouTube family. It's Jackie from Cruising the Sierra Farm. And as you can see, we keep getting snow. We've had now 3 different little snowstorms, getting about 3 to 4 inches every time, and then it melts before the next one hits. And then we got more last night. But the purpose of today's video, I've been feeling a little guilty about an old video that I did. And I think it's because, the reason I'm feeling guilty is because I think people, so maybe miscommunication on my part. And I think it was just because I was like in awe of I was in awe of what I was doing. Ooh, that wind's cold. All right, look, I gotta clear some of this snow. So hang on. All right, that works. Okay, so anyway, hi girls. Look at them. Their yard is nothing but snow. They're like, man, we're over this. Okay, we've got the animals taken care of. I couldn't do it one-handed. So, anyway, I just felt as though it possibly was misleading. And so I just wanted to take the time to tell you, I don't just feed the sprouted barley grain. So that's RC behind me with his ladies. He thinks that they're absolutely ridiculous walking in all that snow. He refuses to get down off of this little planter here. But that's okay. The girls are reaping the benefits of the black oil sunflower seeds. So anyway, my thing was with that video is that I was so shocked at the small amount of seed that once it was soaked and expanded, and then roots grow, and then the actual seed starts to sprout and grow. It goes from filling up like this much. Ignore my worm dirt fingers. It goes from filling up like this little inch or less area in the Tupperware, the round Tupperware that I have in that video, to almost completely filling it, like at least 9-10 inches worth of stuff. And so that was can you believe this little small amount will actually feed my 30 chickens? But I should have gone on to say that it's not enough to feed your 30 chickens healthy. It's healthy for them, but they need all sorts of other things to be a healthy flock. And so I think what has especially bothered me is, I gotta go in and get these bunnies some water. What has bothered me is watching my YouTube channel and seeing all of the views that that's getting. And I don't want people to think that feeding only sprouted barley grain is enough for their animals. So I gotta get move the snow so I can get into the greenhouse. Because that's where my bottles are to fill up. Whew. Let's go in and talk in here where it's nice and warm. Let's see, what's the temperature in here? It is 62 degrees. Perfect. Oops, I just fogged up my glasses. All right, so let me finish what I'm saying. So, again, we feed a lot of different things to our chickens. to try to cut down on feed costs. I'm going to back up a little bit further to tell you guys that when the pandemic happened, it forced us to really think of how are we going to feed our flock. Well, actually, at the time that it hit, we didn't have chickens because the chickens that I did have in the past were massacred years previously by raccoons. And so when the C word hit, isn't that funny? Look at that. I'm going to turn this way so you can see that beautiful view behind me of the mountains. So when it hit, my husband couldn't get eggs from the store. He would get up and try to go in at like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and they'd already be wiped out. So even though it destroyed me years ago when our chickens were killed, I knew that I needed to start raising chickens again and heal my broken heart just so that we would have food. I wanted to make sure we had the ability to have eggs when we needed them. And so that brought on the chickens. But then also my husband's work, because of everything being shut down, he's in the food industry. So when restaurants are not able to have people coming in or only takeout, things really changed. So he does not get paid the same anymore, which led a whole new problem. So how are we going to feed our flock of chickens that we get the cheapest that we can? That led to me researching as much as possible, which I really highly suggest for all of you. Not one person is going to be able to give you all of the information you're seeking. So spend time on YouTube when you're not doing anything. Instead of watching the boob tube, watch YouTube. So I learned from so many different sources because not everybody has the same experience, and yours might not be the same either. So I started doing my research and came across growing barley fodder, which I had actually attempted with my sister previous years before then. And we did that with some winter wheat. And it did well. And it grows fast. And it doesn't require soil. And so I went ahead and found a supplier about 3 hours from us, 2 hours, 45 minutes, 3 hours from us, to get barley seed. So I was going to grow barley fodder to, not only does it feed the chickens, but the rabbits love it and the worms love it. So it has a whole bunch of different purposes, right? But I knew that that wasn't going to be enough. So I started, because of the research that I had done, I ordered mealworms and I started my mealworm farm in the house. Now for another day I'll try to do it. But if you take a look at my playlists on my YouTube channel, there will be areas that talks about, there will be one that's specific to darkling beetles and mealworms, and then ones that are totally different with, well, actually they might be considered, I'd have to go back and look to be for sure. But anyway, you'll be able to find both composting worm videos as well as mealworms. They are raised completely different. Do not think that you can get mealworms and throw them in the dirt like you would composting worms. It won't work. So, back to the story. So then I had barley fodder, right? Which is the video that I'm referring to that is really making me feel guilty. So we have that, and then we have, if you look at another playlist, you'll see all of the stuff on my composting. Composting provides food for the chickens as well. It's got beneficial microbes throughout it. It's got green material in it. It's got kitchen scraps in it. All sorts of goodness for chickens. And not only do they eat from that compost pile, but they help aerate it and they help fertilize that soil with their poop. So then you have really good, rich soil to grow all of your vegetables in that next season, right? Because you have to allow enough time for the fertilizer to break down, because chicken poop is a hot manure. You don't want to put hot manure directly where you're going to be sowing seeds or plants right away. So this is a process that has to be done through the winter and not used right away, or during the summer and not used right away. There are forms of manure that you can add to your compost piles that will not be a hot compost. For instance, I raise rabbits. I actually purchased rabbits specifically. That was snow coming off of the roof of the greenhouse. So I actually purchased rabbits to provide us with their manure, because their manure is a cold compost and can be thrown into garden beds, compost piles, and actually the worms will devour rabbit poop. So everything here on the farm has a purpose, and it most likely has multiple purposes. So not only that, but in the spring, like, I will be getting ready to start seeds. I'm behind because of this weather, but I will be starting seeds here in the greenhouse. And we grow extra. We grow things specifically to feed our livestock. They love the cabbages and lettuces and spinach and Swiss chard. So if I can't keep up on eating the Swiss chard myself, it gets cut and goes to the rabbits. Oh, sorry, I keep coming in close. Let me set this up. Little stand, it's perfect. All right, let me see here. There we go. Perfect. Hands free in the greenhouse, all thanks to the six pack things. Anyway, what was I saying? Growing things here in the starting them in the greenhouse and then growing them. So yeah, if I can't keep up on eating of the things, then it goes to the the chickens. All the different things on the brain. Another thing I grow that feeds the chickens is comfrey. I grow the Russian number 14, Bocking 14. And the chickens love it and the rabbits love it. So I also pick from that throughout the year. Any kind of kitchen scraps go in there. Semi-spoiled greens, and those go in the compost pile for the chickens to peck away at. There's all sorts of ways to feed your chickens without having to buy commercial feed or use commercial feed as much as you would if you didn't feed all the different ways that I feed. Nonetheless, this is the video that literally almost every day I think about it. I'm like, I need to make this because this other video is just making me feel really guilty. I don't want people to think that they can raise their flock off of that much barley grain a day. So my conscience feels better now. And you guys got a little bit of information. So let's recap. So I raise mealworms, which come from darkwing beetles. They love that. It is an excellent source of protein. It has kept my chickens, that might be a whole new video, but it has kept my chickens laying, some of my chickens laying throughout the winter. I have older hens that I'm keeping around until they die that don't lay anymore. And then I have some that are too young to lay. And then I have some that aren't paying their rent. But again, I'm going to save that for a whole different video because it might be super important for my take on what's happening with the feed situation that a lot of homesteaders are posting about. So, mealworms, composting worms, excellent dual purpose thing to have on a homestead. The comfrey, the kitchen scraps, the compost piles, you know, growing extras in your garden to specifically feed your birds. I'm in a situation where I live on an acre piece of land that is nothing but decomposed granite and, uh-oh, here we go with more snow slides off of the roof. So I live in an area where a caldera erupted many moons ago. And the molten ash from that eruption, I purchased a piece of land right through the flow. And it's been a really hard thing to deal with because it's not good growing medium in the respect that it's extremely hard. You can't dig in it. There's no space for roots to grow, but it is filled with probably amazing minerals and such for growing in, but you can't dig in it. Literally, we have had to like rock bar and use like a chisel and an axe and chain to dig holes in this stuff, right? So I basically had to make my own soil to grow in. If you go back and watch some of my gardening videos, I talk a lot about that. And it's a lot of work to do, but it's so doable to make your own soil, an amazing soil that's probably better than anything this ground could have done me had it been different. So, that was kind of a big portion of why I got into raising compost worms, because I knew how amazing their poop is, their castings are, and mixed with some other things and the compost growing, which you'll find multiple videos of on my channel. Just go check them all out. I'm not going to link to them here. I might throw in a couple in the description box. We'll see. But yeah, I feel a weight lifted off of my shoulders for actually addressing this. It's been bothering me for a while. This was a video that I did last year, and my conscience feels good now. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comment section below. And I hope to see you back on the next video. And if you're a new subscriber, thank you so much. I love sharing what I'm passionate about and what I enjoy doing here on our little acre homestead. So thanks for coming along, and please hit that like button. It helps my channel greatly, and the notification bell will let you know when I post another video. All right, we'll see you on the next video, guys. Have a great day.